Girls, what grossed you out so much in a relationship that you just left?
He bragged about how he sexually abused the family dog when he was a teenager. About how he groomed his high school girlfriends just to cheat on them, yet I was still shocked when he did the same thing to me. He's a Reddit user and I fucking hope he sees this. I'm late to the party, but there was a guy in my social circle that I had crazy sexual tension with. Nothing happened for the longest time. Then one day we bumped into each other in the city, had a few drinks. The tension was unbearable and we went back to his place. An aside, I'd never had that kind of casual sex before. I'm the sort of person that needs to be in a relationship. But the chemistry with him was so intense, he was an exception. So we get to his place, tearing off each other's clothes. He lies me down on the bed, pulls my panties off, and sees my vagina for the first time. Want to know what he fucking said? He breathlessly said, "Oh my god, you look like a little girl. You're perfect." What the fuck? I didn't know what to say except a wait, and sort of pushed him away from me. He was confused, I wasn't about to explain. I called a cab home and it was exceptionally awkward. He was on trial for manslaughter and I didn't know until he was found guilty. He kept trying to call me from jail. Edit, it was kidnapping and manslaughter, but he was only found guilty of kidnapping.
Way back when I was 21, I started dating this guy, also 21. I took him to a Lollapalooza, and about 6 hours in he had wandered off to the bathrooms and was taking a really long time to pee. He comes out 20 minutes later with this 15-year-old girl who he said just sucked his dick and she has a cute friend, also 15, and he wanted the four of us to hook up. He found his own way home and never heard from me again.
He showed me, with excitement, a box of things he'd been collecting from me without my knowledge. This included strands of my hair taped up neatly, bobby pins and hair pins I had in from prom, my fingerprints and saliva sample that he took out of the trash from our forensics class experiments. He thought this was a romantic gesture or something, but it just made me really realize how creepy and obsessive he is. He was also very controlling and got jealous/mad at me for hanging out with my sister, or spending time on my laptop or with my dog. And he also admitted to me that he stalked my FB interests to pretend he knew and liked what I liked, researching the games I played and music I listened to so he could bring it up in conversation. Total psycho. I showered at his place after staying over and I asked for a towel. He gave me one which had literal skin flakes on. I asked for a clean one. He asked what I meant. He did not realize that you need to wash towels because they just have water on them so they clean themselves. He had berated me for something silly and he was still angry. When we got home, he wanted sex, I wanted to read. He pressured me, I still said no. He got angry and raised his fist to hit me. I just looked at him. He lowered his fist. I left. I haven't seen him since. It's been a decade. I went away with my ex and saw his toothbrush for the first time. It had black mold growing on it and the bristles were so flat the toothbrush had a middle parting. I had a conversation with him about hygiene and told him to get a new toothbrush, but when I stayed at his house 2 weeks later the cursed toothbrush was still there, so I ended it. Edit, it wasn't charcoal toothpaste. Crying if I didn't have sex with him. Needing to be touching me constantly and eventually threatening to kill himself when I tried to break up with him. The guy texted and called for about 5 years afterwards. We dated for like 2 months.
I had gotten to the point in the relationship where he didn't mind me in the bathroom while he used it. He took a shit and wiped once. Didn't even look at the toilet paper, then started pulling his pants up. I immediately asked WTF he was doing and how TF he thought one little wipe was going to do a damn thing, and he was like, "I've never needed more than one," look, then wiped again, probably expecting nothing to be there. There was a lot there. I guess the idea of him just carrying on with his day with shit regularly, caked up in his ass, painted him in a different light for me. Wasn't ever able to reignite the attraction. Probably should have been the person-sized pile of garbage in his room that made me reconsider, but I had further limits than most, I suppose. Asked me had I ever attempted to seduce my stepdad, who had been in my life since I was 8. I was 18 at the time. I just looked at him in bafflement and horror before asking him had he ever attempted to fuck his adopted sister? He responded with disgust and yet still couldn't see that he had asked me something horrific. Same dude also said he didn't think anyone was really bisexual, they're just cowards who won't properly come out. When I asked him had he forgotten that I'm a bisexual woman, he smiled and said, "Nah, I'll fuck you straight." All this said within a month of us getting together. He's an ex for a reason.